How's your heart feeling today, my friend? We're going to offer some bold assumptions about this point in time and where we meet you in today's conversation. The feeling, the sense is you are at a place of reconciling your divine side and what we could call your instinctual side, the merging of divine and beast, the merging of the higher impulses and the lower impulses. You are at a juncture where you are more open to collaboration than ever before. You've probably even been in a certain kind of hermit mode, but more and more so, you are feeling the call to connect with resonant people, resonant situations, resonant projects. Doesn't necessarily mean that you want to throw yourself out there in a huge group. Maybe some do. And I'm also getting the sense that you are feeling the rising call to connect with like-spirited individuals and groups and initiatives. There is a level of discernment to your process that maybe wasn't there before. You're being discerning with where you place your energy and your time. And being able to be in one's own company assists us in realizing that if we're going to say yes to, let's say, spending time beyond our own company, then we're looking for something that really harmonizes or amplifies what we've been cultivating, rather than saying yes to situations in which it feels that we must battle or we feel drained. And so more and more so, the invitation comes to how you would like to express that in your life, what kind of scenarios. I'm imagining that whatever gets to be said in this video is going to be exactly the messaging that you were connecting with inside your own heart. And we're going to amplify that through this video today. Because I love the remembering, I love the idea that everybody who's tuning in is more and more so remembering to connect with their heart first, remembering to connect with their inner wisdom first. I love doing videos like this. And the way that I envision that they may evolve and involve as you're doing your own inner reconnecting is they get to be amplifiers of your already deeper knowing. They get to be momentum amplifiers of the direction that you are choosing to go into your life, not a source of wisdom or knowledge for you to require to receive outside of you, because this is not how I perceive it, but rather as yet another yes and that gets to appear in your life in precise timing, right when you're calling for it the most. And what I notice about working with life in this way, and you inviting yourself to work in life in this way, is through those kinds of interactions with me, with books, with anything else you view and use, is you are continuing to reaffirm your own inner guidance. When you are connecting to the core fulcrum of all of creation in its most natural state, almost mathematically, the mathematical representation of love as a harmonic, that appears to be one of the most coherent places that I have ever been able to get my yeses and nos from. Now, you might wonder, well, am I connecting to the coherent heart fulcrum? Let's tune into that together. Why don't we? So, if you would like to do this experiment, let's go ahead and receive an answer from your heart. So I'm going to invite you to take a question, let's say that you're interested in, but I'm going to invite you to choose a question that you don't have intense emotions around. One of the reasons for that is when we often have intense emotions around a question, there's a good chance that we have an attachment to the answer. When you have an attachment to the answer, it would be likely that your energy may want to influence the outcome, or it may even be afraid of reading the answer. So you might feel lack of clarity around it because there's a part of you that is both deeply desiring to know, but also feels very intense about knowing. And so sometimes I find the results are like a person who wants to change time, and so they attempt to change time by moving the hands on a clock or changing the numbers up and down on a digital clock. In this case, I invite you to choose something, a question that you'd like to receive the answer to that feels neutral to you or light. So once you have the question in your mind's eye, what we're going to do is we're going to give the heart an opportunity to speak with you the answer. Now, this is something anyone can do. You can do it even more so because I know that you're super rad. So what I'll invite us to do is just start by taking in some breaths. You'll notice that I invite us to take in breaths during times like this. I find for myself, it's one of the ways that I like to key myself into a state fairly automatically. Some people do things like use bells. You might find your own way of doing it. For now, I invite the breath. It's got multi-sensory reasons, my friend. And plus, we breathe anyway, so why not? All right. Breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then what I like to do is in the next breath in, I imagine the breath coming into the heart. And this is my way of almost saying hello to the heart. Breathing out, imagining it coming online. I take another breath in, drawing more oxygen into the heart space. Breathing out. Then I picture my question in my mind's eye, right here, holding it in front of me as though I was holding it in front of my heart. And I would then ask very clearly, what is the answer to the question of, and then state your question, and state it inwardly. Now, the thing about these questions is it's ideal if they are yes or no. It's ideal if you keep the question as concise as possible, meaning as simple as possible. Many times, the way we ask questions will reveal to us the quality of answer that we will receive. Asking excellent questions begets clear answers. So, if you want to do it again, breathe in. Heart, question in front of you. Breathe out. Thank your heart. Then say, I am curious. Heart, what is your answer to the following question? Then ask the question. For example, for me, would it be a resonant yes for me to have a grilled cheese today? Would you enjoy that, heart, knowing my body, knowing what would be delightful to me? For me right now, the answer is no. And see, for me, I feel that through a slight withdrawal of the heart, a slight constriction, a slight leaning back. Now, it's not painful, what I'm describing, but it's an immediate knowing. Now, to be clear, I like grilled cheese. When I ask this question of my heart, would that be a yes for me today? It's not only considering my taste buds. It is considering the well-being of my whole body. It is considering the goals, the inspirations that I have, maybe the way that I enjoy feeling even after I eat the cheese. And some days it may be a yes, but for me right now it's a no. Now, I share all this with you because it might seem pedantic. We're talking about using the yes or no for a grilled cheese. But see, I invite you to start with that line of questioning at first because it appears to be low stakes, for one. And second, it allows you to begin feeling with no constriction, no resistance, what it is to receive an answer from the heart. Now, some might say, oh, that seems like a silly thing, to spend your answer on. But see, what I find is the way that I consistently talk to my heart carries on into every other area of my life. And when even something like a grilled cheese sandwich is an item that I might bring to my heart, then it just becomes the norm for me to investigate, to sense my world through the lens that includes my heart, that includes my aware heart. Now, notice when I'm asking it, it's not just about a feeling emotion. The heart self, this heart intelligence that I am tapping into, is an inner awareness that is intricately connected to myself as the harmonic frequency of love. In a way, I'm almost talking about mathematical love, which is a very funny word when you think about it. I'm talking about love as the vibrational harmonic state that could be translated into a number of ways beyond what we might just interpret as human emotion. Through that format, things not only become more clear, but there is a deeper sense of cohesion in your life, in your world, whether or not you have immediate knowing of how everything will turn out or not. There is this innate state of well-being and groundedness that comes from interfacing with life regularly in this way. Because you find that you stop requiring your outer world to affirm to you that everything is okay, because you're already interconnected to your source of well-being. So the things that go on around you are able to be flexible, dynamic, and change shape. And wow, that's great, because things around you are flexible, dynamic, and they change shape. So they're allowed to be as they are. You will find you have less arguments with reality because you're not requiring reality to stay static in order for you to be who you are, or you're not requiring reality to conform in order for you to be who you are and feel your well-being, which allows for not only a more dynamic experience for you, it reflects the way life is built. You can ask anybody, how does it go for you when you attempt to resist life? How does it go for you when you put your hands up and attempt to stop a wave or an avalanche? What we remember to do in those times is we remember to surf. We remember to snowboard. We remember to anticipate, to get out of the way, to duck and roll. We move adaptably with momentum and with the ways of this world. We neither need to be buried by it, nor do we need to fight it. We find the ways of our fluidity and our adaptability. And this appears to be one of the most pronounced keys of this time. If you're looking at the going on in the world right now, and you are feeling like, whoa, understandable. Also, this is a time of shedding the skin. It is a time where more congruent foundations are coming into place. But these congruent foundations aren't the ones that you're looking at outside of you. It's not about observing what systems outside of you are attempting to construct. I find that the answers come from, once again, coming within the heart space, harmonizing with that, understanding that that's not only your foundation, but others are doing that simultaneously. I invite you to just observe, even who's watched this video. There is more than just you and me tuning into this. And that enough can assist you in remembering and realizing that whether or not, let's say, the media representations are reflecting that to you at this time, this may reflect to you, maybe it's an invitation to step away from any media sources that invite you to feel disconnected from your power and source self, and rather invest more focused time and energy into inner and outer sources that are reflecting to you the remembering of your inner empowerment, so that you can live that way congruently, so that you can invite yourself to go, and what now? So that you can dynamically connect with community and friends and family and lovers that harmonize that with you. This vehicle of moving and interfacing with your life, this yes and, this heart-centered, bring the question, ask, tune in, this modality of moving through life, in the beginning, if it seems clunky, I share with you, after a while it becomes second nature, then first nature, and then you realize it is nature. And we're all dancing in it. We do a lot of dancing, I noticed. Dancing and soup eating out here in the world. It's the way we be. I invite you to consider that while the prompting of the heart may invite you to take action now, even that action isn't coming from a sense of fear or you must get things going because you're going to miss out. Those are not what I find the words of the heart generate. Any idea of missing out, I find, comes from the source of the ego self, which bless them. The ego self, however, is not the ringleader of this show, or rather doesn't have to be. And the thing about the ego self is the ego self can allow us to enjoy a presentation of life, but I invite you to experiment with allowing the heart to be the actual game master of life. The ego is an excellent experiencer. Allow your heart to be the game master. And so, my friend, as you move forward from today's conversation, I invite you, if it feels cool to you, to play with this way of inquiring with your heart. This is a first step exploration. It may be a deepening step for some of us. And I do have tools, resources, and trainings for those who really want to fly with this and develop it. There's some in the Self-Alchemy Lab, which you can find in the description. Fun place for super rad people such as yourself. And we are really kicking up the experiments in there, so I would enjoy playing with you. And we are really kicking up the experiments in there, so I would enjoy playing alongside you. And there are also occasionally experiment experiences that I open up to small groups. And so if you would like to be aware of when those open up, you can check out my website and you can fill out the form, of which I usually will send out announcements and opportunities for those who want to connect in those experiences. So I invite you to be super cool, super kind to yourself in all the ways that are congruent for you. And in all cases, my friend, deeply appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation.